We now begin day one session of Big 12 Football Media Days, powered by Microsoft Copilot. Representing BYU, please welcome head coach Kalani Sitake. We'll start with an opening statement. Coach, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Russell. First of all, I want to thank Cosmo and our cheerleaders. Thank you for distracting everybody as I walked up. We're excited to be here in Frisco, Texas for Big 12 Media Days, and it's an honor for us to be here and for me to represent BYU as its head coach. Well, first I want to express our appreciation to the leadership of the Big 12, Commissioner Yormark and his staff, and everyone that put so much effort into making this an amazing day for our coaches and also for our players. I look forward to answering any questions you guys may have, but before I do that, I want to first also express my appreciation to all the partners, all the schools that are involved in the Big 12 Conference, especially the head coaches. It's amazing when you look at the talent in our teams and our programs, but I look at the head coaches and they're being able to get to know them, and I appreciate their friendship and their kindness to me. It's been really helpful for me being in this conference with them, and I look forward to competing with them on the field. It's an honor for us to compete on the field with them and their programs. And I also want to express our appreciation to our fans of BYU and specifically our student body and our alumni, and also the faculty and staff that work at BYU. Also want to recognize, recognize our president, C. Shane Reese, and also Keith Vorkink, our vice president. And also want to personally welcome our athletic director, Brian Santiago. Brian is in a new role as the athletic director. I've been around him for the last 10 years, and I've seen his leadership and his commitment. He was Tom Homo's right-hand man, and I'm glad and I'm excited to follow his leadership and to work with him, not only in our BYU football program, but also in the athletic department and at the university. Also want to let our players know how much I appreciate them, and we have 5 young men that are out here representing the team. The difficult part is that I think I could have chosen from about 30 leaders that I think will do a great job speaking here for our program in media days. But we have on our offensive side, we have LJ Martin and Chase, who's a running back, and our receiver Chase Roberts. On the defensive side, we have linebackers Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker, and defensive tackle Keanu Tanuvasa. That being said, I want to open up the floor for you guys to ask me any questions and get this thing started. Thank you.
Senator Wright.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Coach, in the face of some off-the-field distractions this offseason, you said a little bit ago that every team develops its own identity. In the face of this uncertainty, what identity have you seen start to emerge with your group, or is that something that you don't fully see until the fall?
I think the identity is still a work in progress. I think you have to have a foundation that's set on some principles, and you have to have a mission that you want your program to follow through with. So we have all those in place, but I think there's room for flexibility for our team to find their own identity, and that's usually done with the leaders and the team itself. I would love for me to speak for them, but you have 5 young men that can do that, and I think as we go throughout the year, we'll start to establish their identity, not only on the field, but off the field. So I'm looking forward to the leadership, and there's so much excitement and energy around our program, and that's a big part of what the players and how they conduct themselves.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Our microphone holders will go to you. We'll go here to center left.
Drake Toll, Locked On Big 12. Coach, losing a senior quarterback, how has the locker room reacted to that, and where is the QB battle set?
Yeah, I think well, first of all, there's competition in every position. So I think the one that gets the most attention is quarterback in every program. But everybody in our program, everybody has to be competitive, and you have to fight for your spot. And then you have to balance that with loving each other and mentoring and taking care of each other. So that's a fine line that I mentioned before. All the head coaches do a great job at doing that in their programs. I think for me, it's just allowing the guys to compete. In the quarterback room, we have, if you're going to play at BYU, you have to be able to throw the ball. So we have guys that can sling the ball, and they all have different skill sets. The fortunate part for me is I have a coaching staff that was able to keep intact, and so there's always a knowledge of the offense for the guys that are there, and then we have incoming talent that I think could be really special for us. So let's settle it on the field, let them compete, and then I only know one way, and I just play the best guys. That's how it works.
Okay, we have a question here in the center, third row.
Jason Christensen, the Daily Universe. Good to see you, Coach. With the recent events this last few weeks, there's been a lot of attention to the honor code, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on what it means to you to be at a university that has an honor code, and what role it plays for you as a coach and a mentor of these young men.
Yeah, our university is, we're sponsored and affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So there's a level of expectation and a standard that we ask our student athletes and our students all together to live by. Every school has their standards. We have ours too, and our expectations. We have an academic expectation as well. So if young people don't fit the academic criteria, then they don't get in school. So these are just part of the things that you have to be committed to, and we expect our students to live according to what they signed up for.
Okay, we have a question here in the center left.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Coach, just to be clear, you don't anticipate Jake being a part of the program going forward, is that correct?
I think right now, first of all, I love Jake Retzlaff. We love Jake Retzlaff and appreciate all that he's done for our program. I think it would be inappropriate for me to make a statement in his situation first. I think that's his right. I think it's a private matter that he can speak for himself, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to do that.
Kalani, Jake Hatch, Locked On Podcast Network. Just wanted to ask you, in your opinion, looking ahead to this upcoming season, what's different about this team versus previous iterations of your football program?
We'll figure it out. We'll find out. My job as a head coach is to make sure that we're playing at our best. Did we do that last year? Not consistently enough for me. And so I've got a lot of things to work on and a lot of things that I've learned from quite a bit. I'm going into my 10th year as a head coach, and so I'd like to say that I'm kind of older now and hopefully wiser, but I do know one thing: if we're going to make any improvement, it's got to start with me first, and then I think everybody can figure out how to get that much better themselves. And so I'm going to focus on things that I can do, which is control the team and give them an opportunity and a culture, an environment where they can really thrive, whether if they're a new and incoming player or if they're someone that's developed in our program throughout the years.
Okay, we have a question, center left.
JT Whistler-Sill, Locked On Utes. Kalani, how has BYU's recruiting really transformed a monster class this year, and what do you think of the individuals you brought in?
I think the key has been just the invite to the Big 12 conference, first of all. When this thing all started, first of all, I got the job. We were an independent team. When I grew up cheering for BYU as a young kid, we were in the WAC. Then we went in the Mountain West and went to Independence. So the difference was the change. And first of all, the leadership that Tom Homo had with us as athletic director, he did an amazing job. He's retired now and probably got his toes in the sand right now. But his leadership was amazing. He was able to work with Brian Santiago and his staff and get this program ready to enter a power conference like the Big 12. And so when that opportunity came, when I first got the job, he asked me what we want to get done, and the goal was to play the best that we can, even with an independent schedule, try to get the toughest teams on our schedule, and we'll learn from the experiences. As we did that throughout the years, and following his leadership, I think it's prepared the entire program and other sports the opportunity to just kind of be prepping for the enter into the Big 12. So when we got invited, that was kind of the change. Now we're in the power conference and thankful to the Big 12 for inviting us into the conference. But we saw things change, not just from resources, but also just it just kind of settled a lot of arguments for people not to come to BYU. And so now going to our third year, we feel like we're in a good momentum and got some good things going. But all that had to happen with what Tom Homo did for us in the 2 decades that he was the AD.
All right, we have time for one final question. Third row.
Sam Foster, Daily Universe. Just going off that 2026 recruiting class, it's one of the best in BYU history. Now that students they decommit a lot and they transfer a lot more than in previous years, how do you make sure that these students that you're recruiting for 2026 stay with this program, and a lot of them are going to go on missions? How do you make sure that you keep them on board for years to come?
That's my job. I have to do a great job at creating an environment that they want to be a part of. And a lot of that is understanding them and creating an environment where they want to be focused on getting a degree. I think the transferring quite a bit is you lose credits, and we got to get the focus right back on the students getting and earning a degree. And so that's what we're going to focus on. And I want to develop them in a lot of different ways. A lot of the young men that are coming back into our program through the transfer portal, we recruited the first time. So I'd like to get it right the first time. It seems like we're doing better now than we did before. So let's just try to do that and hang on to them. I'd rather do it that way and get it right. And that's on me. If I'm not able to retain them, then that's my fault. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you, sports media, for all you do for our game. College football is in a really good spot, and a lot of you guys have to do for that. Thank you.
That's part of football. I mean, that's why we try to get our team as deep as possible. So, the game of football is violent, so injuries can happen. So we can't just rely on one player to make it work for us. And fortunately for us, there's a lot of guys I think can play, and we want a depth. And so I think quarterback in every position, we feel good about our depth there.
I mean, Keanu's not the first Utah player to transfer to BYU. He will be the last. How do you help a guy like that who just has had to deal with this incessantly compared to maybe some other players?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone knows Keanu, there's a high level of respect and love that he has for the University of Utah. I mean, it helped him get to where he is at now, and I think that I can understand that. I feel the same way. And so I don't know exactly what's being said or what's out there, but I know that Keanu loves Utah, and I know that he appreciates them. I know that his family feels the same way. I hope people can understand where he's coming from and why he made the decision that he did. It's not a popular one for a lot of people to understand, but I feel like he's feeling really comfortable with us. I mean, he's already established himself as a leader for our program. That's why we brought him here to the media day, and this is I think it's a great setting for him where he can really thrive and kind of talk his way and explain his story a little bit. But at the same time, I think what do you want him to say? Like, this guy's a great player, and he has a lot of appreciation and respect for where the school that he came from, who happens to be our rival. I have the same respect and love for them too. So, but there's a fine line between humility and confidence, and I think sometimes people can take things out of context. But if you know his heart, you know where he's at. I think everybody can understand that. So I hope people just kind of ease up a little bit and try to put yourself in his position. And and a lot of people will say, yeah, he did that to himself. Yeah, but there's a reason for it, and I think he feels comfortable with that. So, this is my job in recruiting is I want to get it right the first time. A lot of guys that we have coming back to us in the portal are guys that we recruited before, and for one way or another they didn't choose BYU at that time. I'm hoping that we can get that done, and so that we don't have to go to the transfer portal as much. But the fact that we have the transfer portal and that we have a culture where players are attracted to and want to be part of this team and part of this program, that's a good sign. So I think we have to look into it, but I don't want to make a living out of it personally. I like to see guys get their schoolwork done. This is still an amateur sport, and I like to see them gain their degree, which is what it's all about still.
Kalani, with all those changes, how do you as a coach, how different is it to try to build team chemistry when there's so much coming and going and money's involved now and there's so many different, things happening?
Yeah, I think the goal for me is to focus on the culture, focus on what I can control. I think if you're focused on money, then that's what the culture will become about. These young men just have an opportunity with RevShare now and with NIL to make money. And so their education just becomes a little fast forwarded. Back when I was younger, we didn't know anything about taxes until you learn the hard way, which is you get your W-2 check and you're like, wait, what happened here? Well, congratulations. That's a welcome into life, right? These guys now have to understand what a W-2 is, but also what a 1099 is, what tax breaks are, and things like that. But they should also learn it's our job to teach them investment funds and think about retirement. Can you guys imagine if we started thinking about a retirement at 18 years old and planning for it? That's a pretty cool thing. And so I think there's some really cool things that happen from rev share and NIL. But when it gets down to it, we still play a game of football. And they're still amateurs, and they still need to go to class and get a degree, and they still need to develop in a lot of different ways, physically, mentally, spiritually, and get a degree. That's what it still comes down to. They're still young men, so my job is just a little bit more teaching and probably different subjects that I didn't think I'd have to hit on, 5 years ago.
Well, with players coming in and out, is there something you do differently now than maybe you used to, as far as trying to build that chemistry? Any different?
I think attrition is just normal. I mean, I can say that our team likes hanging out together and being around each other. I know I see a lot of our local media here. We play golf quite a bit. Our team plays golf, and I actually think it's a really good thing. I'd encourage more teams to play golf together. They're not really good at it, just so you guys know. But tell me, if those of you that play golf, you put the phones down and you actually swing and you drive a cart together and you get to spend time hours together. And so you really have to like the person to do that and to do it over and over and over again. And then comes this connection, camaraderie, brotherhood, a love that you share with each other. So in the past, you've done that in the weight room, and you've survived the punishing runs and the workouts, and that kind of binds you together. But you have to find other ways to bring these guys together, because I think it's going to manifest itself on the field too. So, but a lot of people don't want it to be about that. They want to focus on other things. That's great. For me, as a head coach, that's what I'm going to keep focused on.
What's your assessment of Trayson Bourget, and how has he grown since he's gotten to BYU?
Yeah, Trayson Bourget's been in our program for quite a long time now, and seeing his talent and seeing him physically get better and get stronger. But all those quarterbacks have something in common. They can all throw the ball. So that's the one prerequisite that we have, is that you have to be able to throw the ball. How you do it and your skill set is going to be unique to what you do. Luckily, we have an offensive staff that's been put together, and an offensive coordinator and play caller that's been there for a long time. And we've been through quarterback battles before. So this isn't like a brand new thing. We've seen quarterback battles and compete. I mean, this time last year, it was between Gary Bohannon and Jake Retzlaff. And so we've been through that before. We've had quarterback battles when Zach Wilson won the spot, Jaron Hall, Jake Retzlaff. So this isn't new to us. Luckily, I feel like we have an offensive system that A-Rod has been able to establish where the players can all be themselves. Trayson Bourget can play his best style of football, and then we can model the offensive scheme and strategy according to his skill set. We can do that with McKay Hillstead. We can do that with Bear Bachmeyer. We can do all that, and we've done that before. So I feel really confident with that. I feel confident with what we're doing defensively and special teams. We're able to retain our entire coaching staff, which I don't think a lot of people are talking enough about. To me, that was a huge positive, and that means for me it's maybe a little pat on my back. Like they like me, they want to hang out with me a lot, so that's cool. They want to give it another year, But the truth is, I think a lot of that has to do with our fans, the support that we have, the environment, the momentum that we're creating as a program, and then the young men that they get to coach. I think that's a big part of it.
Do you golf with the guys?
Yeah, I golf with them sometimes. I try not to because they like bragging about it, and for some reason, this generation records everything. So I'm not interested. When those of you that have been around me and you record my golf swing, it's not impressive. It's not as bad as some other popular people out there. But if you're going to record me, I'm going to look straight like I hit it right down the fairway. I don't care if it's going slicing to the right or hooking to the left. I've got to fake out the cameras now. So I don't want to be in that position. So I play with the old men. I play with my style, my coaches, and I let the players go do their thing. They like to swing really hard on the ball, and that's not my style. So what are the questions? I don't.
It's a good problem to have, but you're managing the expectations to come from an 11-2 season instead of a 5-7 season. How are you doing that? Does it change? Does the approach change, or how do you manage it?
I think you guys have been around me when we had the 5-7 season. There's some really good things that we did that year. I don't think you just trashed that whole year because it didn't work out in our favor. There's some really cool competitive games that we did. It's taking that season and then learning from all the mistakes that I made as a head coach
I'm still learning. I mean, I'm going in my 10th year as a head coach. I can tell you now, going in my 10th year compared to going in my first year, I feel a lot more comfortable in this role. There's a lot of things that I learned along the way. Some of them were just the school of hard knocks, where you just like the experience is tough and some of them embarrassing. But I'm not against learning. So if it means that I get embarrassed and I make bad decisions, I'm going to own up to it and try to figure it out. But I'm also trying to figure things out more. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I've learned quite a bit from so many people, specifically the players. They've been. I mean, their football IQ is amazing, but their connection and their love for the game and love for each other, and I mean that's something that I really thrive on. And then kind of being around the fans. I mean, if you're a good fan, you're going to have an opinion. I don't mind hearing them all out. I was on a cruise with all BYU Cougar fans on a cruise for a week. They gave me a bunch of advice, they gave me a bunch of opinions. I didn't mind it at all, man. This is what I love to do, and so this is a really cool experience for me. The fact that we went 11-2 last year, it just means that we were able to win some of the closer games that we lost in the 5-7 year. So the attention to detail becomes, how do we keep improving? Not thinking about the end result. I'm thinking about how can we get better as a program. But this has already started. If you listen to what I said earlier with the entire media, I mentioned this was a plan that was put in place when Tom Homo hired me first year, and we said let's try to get ourselves ready so that when we do enter a power conference, that we'll be able to create some momentum. This was all Tom's vision. I'm lucky and honored that I became part of that and part of the plan. And then all I had to do was sacrifice my record. I mean, you remember the year that we played Wisconsin? They came down to Provo and they spanked us. It was embarrassing up front, but how else are we going to learn? What's a better teacher than the experience of being physically manhandled? And then a year later, we go up to Wisconsin, Camp Randall. We beat them. So that right there is a great learning experience. We had many of those along the way, and we're learning that as we are in this Big 12 in this conference. I'm enjoying every part of it, man. I don't know what this year is going to bring us. I don't know what the record is going to look like. I just know I'm going to enjoy the process and I'm going to have fun doing it.
Talking about retaining your staff, how close do you feel like you were to potentially losing guys?
I think every year there's always a threat. If you're doing things right, there's always going to be a threat. Every year, I mean, even the 5-7 year, there's always threat of losing guys. And I have a responsibility as a head coach to make decisions. That's going to be. I have to take the fans. I have to understand that I'm speaking for the fans. I'm doing what I have to respond to them. But that's not it. Also, the number one thing is that I have an obligation to the fans, but my major obligation is to the players, to the student athletes in our program. And so that means that if I have to make difficult decisions, then so be it. This is more important than me as the head coach. This is a movement that we're trying to create. Tom's no longer the AD. Right now, I said he's got his toes in sand right now. How awesome is that? That's not my time yet, but. He's actually passed the baton to Brian Santiago, and I love the way Brian's been leading us as an athletic director. The entire administration, there's a movement happening, and we everything's done deliberately. It's not just by chance. We've got to keep intentionally moving and intentionally applying more pressure for us to get better.
How would you describe the challenge of stopping quarterbacks this league?
The challenge what?
Of stopping quarterbacks in this league with the class.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every coach here can coach, man, and every style of offense is going to be a problem. I mean, there's so many great quarterbacks. A lot of them are here today, and they'll be here tomorrow, and their level of ability and skill set, but their football IQ, it's one of a kind. You see how advanced these young men are, and there's next level players at the quarterback position, and you combine that with innovative and brilliant offensive minds, it's going to cause a lot of issues for a lot of defensive coaches. So I'm the head coach. I don't call the plays. I don't call the offensive plays, defensive plays, or special teams plays. But I like them all. I just want our coaches to choose the right mix that's going to get us the best chance for victory. I don't care what style it is, but I do know one thing. You have to respect what you see on film, and you have to respect the resume of all these coaches in our conference. It's a deadly conference to be in, and it's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Coach, Andrew Cherico, Latavius Murray's Knights 247. I'm just curious on your thoughts on UCF head coach Scott Frost returning to coach UCF once again, this time in the Big 12, knowing that you possibly had some history with him in Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Frost he's got a brilliant mind when it comes to football too. And so I think that he's in a comfortable setting now, something that he's familiar with. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean that he's a smart guy and he understands how to motivate his players. And then you look at his staff that he put together. I think he put a really dynamic staff together. So there's going to be every team in this conference is a problem, and it doesn't hurt that Scott Frost won national championship. Granted, when we were talking with him before, he said that none of his players were born back then. But you're officially an old man when you're talking about the days when none of your guys were alive when you played. I mean, I was talking. These guys were asking me, Coach, when was your freshman year? I said 94, and their reaction made me feel older than anything. They're like, what, 94? And I didn't understand that, but whatever, man. I turned 50 this year. I'm going to be officially old, and I can't wait for it to happen. Yeah, but Scott's going to do an amazing job there. I just hope he doesn't do it against us.
Kalani, Brett Yormark talked earlier about the importance of finding brands in this league that will become annual contenders in the playoff each year. I think BYU's positioned to become that program in this league.
I think everybody's positioned to do that. I think my job is, like I said, I don't know what the results of the games are going to be. We can play our best game and still may not be good enough against that opponent that week. The goal is that we do that consistently. I felt like we did some really cool things last year. I don't think we played at our best consistently enough, and that's my job. That falls on me. That's what I'm focused on. The unfortunate part is that every coach that's here and that's going to be here tomorrow is thinking the same thing. So that's what makes this whole thing fun, man. It's going to be exciting, I'm sure, for you guys to follow and to cover. And like I said before, they're all competitive guys, and that's why I like talking to them and I like being their friends, because they think the way I do, which is like settle everything on the field. I'm not into campaigning, which is why I wasn't here. You didn't hear me talking about the playoffs and our situation. My thing is, like, we're happy to play in the Alamo Bowl game against a Heisman Trophy winner and against a talented team in Colorado and Coach Prime, and appreciating the opportunity and the gratitude that we have for this game. I don't campaign for things. I just want to be on the field, and let's get the best guys on the field.
Do you feel the preseason poll last year hurt you guys? Yormark felt it hurt Arizona State.
I don't know. I don't know how all that works. I'm not in those committees. I'm not in those meetings. I coach ball. So that's what I do. So I don't know where we're going to be when the rankings happen. I know if I'm doing my job the right way, then it should work out in our favor. If it means that people started way further behind because of the poll, I don't know. But has anybody got the preseason poll right from beginning to end?
2 years ago, Texas.
Yeah. So someone got it right from 1 to 25?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's what makes college football really exciting, right? I mean, I don't think anybody's even got the bracket right for March Madness. So that the intrigue is that I see where what Commissioner Yormark's talking about. I think everybody sees that. I'm like the coaches here. Let's settle it on the field. I don't have a problem with it. We've played 3 non-conference games. I would love to play an ACC team, an SEC team, and a Big Ten team. Line them up. Let's do this. Why can't we do that?
Coach, how did you get a BMX rider and a former high school receiver to become one of the best linebackers?
That's kind of how it works, right? You just kind of like, well, Jack, that's pretty cool that you can be a BMX rider, and I've always thought that was something that I would love to have done back in the day. You know, when you're little and you're riding your bike around thinking you're jumping these jumps, and then you see someone really do it, and all I did was go off a curb. That guy's he doesn't fear anything, and so when you put yourself and your body through all the risks that he does with a bicycle, I think being out here and chasing down the quarterback, it makes it a lot easier on him. But his motor that he's able to rely on, his explosiveness, that's something that I think Jay Hill's done a great job of utilizing his skill set. And then looking at Isaiah, Glasgow, when he was a receiver, it's hard telling a receiver in high school that you're going to play linebacker someday. So you start by telling him he's a safety, and you just kind of like give him an idea of what we knew there was going to be something special about him. the intensity that he played the game, and then how he was. I don't know if he was utilized enough with his skills and with his advantages, but the fact that he can run how he runs and he's extremely physical, that's hard to put together. Luckily, Jay and I have had experience in seeing those guys and projecting guys in that position and projecting them to the line of scrimmage or into the front seven.
You've seen.
Yeah, I think NIL and rev shares. I mean, that's everybody has to adjust to it. I think all we've done is added a general manager. So I don't need to know how everything works. I know some coaches do it that certain way. I don't have to know which bus is going to pick us up to take us to the stadium. I don't need to know all the details of everything. What I do like is you tell me what you think we can get done, and I like the ideas and the way we go. Same thing with the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, special teams. I don't call every play, but I've never seen a trick play I don't like, and I don't mind fakes on fourth down, and I don't mind being creative on defense with blitz packages. So test me, try me out. So I asked our general manager and our support staff to be creative and try to find ways to give us an advantage, and that's their department, that's their expertise. I want to delegate and trust my staff to do their job.
Speaking of the play calling,
Just talking with Scott Frost about being back in the Big 12, what's one piece of advice that you would give him about today's Big 12?
Oh, he already knows ball. I mean, you can see it on film. I think a lot of people will say just be ready for the physical play, but Scott understands that. He knows that. I mean, look, you see how big he is and his style of play. That guy is an amazing quarterback and was really physical. So he understands the game better than a lot of people think.
in what areas have you seen Aaron Roderick evolve as a play caller running your offense?
Yeah, I think we've all kind of evolved. We're all older now, so we're getting there, and we've kind of put in some time, had some experiences, and I think that, like I mentioned before, he's able to create so many different styles of offense. We played under an air raid system, so he was able to do so many different things as an offensive play caller and offensive coordinator that I think it's going to fit any type of quarterback that can come our way. So. But that doesn't happen just right away. I think that takes time and takes some experience.
Are there play calls in the playbook that you and Roderick ran as players back when you were playing for Lovetto? Still in that playbook?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of if you're watching our system, you can probably see it and go like, yeah, I understand that concept. It's a lot of the stuff that Norm Chow and that Lavelle had back in the day, and that, I mean. It's just football, so nobody here is creating anything. Even the RPOs and the triple option stuff was done already. That's just doing it from shotgun. But now everybody takes the snap from in a gun's position. We're old enough that we remember when everybody was under center. So now it's like it's flipped. So I don't know if we're gonna be old enough where the game flips again, but maybe that will be whoever has the creativity to change it again. Everyone will be ready for it, but I think the difficulty is making sure that you have to defend all these different styles of offense, and I think it seems like all the rules keep trying to benefit the offense more, which I don't mind. Whatever, it works out.
You touched on this a little bit, but in a league with so many quality quarterbacks and established quarterbacks, do you feel like you guys kind of need to maybe catch up with some lost time, being that you're now in a position where you can tough questions for that position when you're training again?
I think that everybody has to go through different phases. I'm not sure we have to play catch up on anything. It's the conversation will be who deserves to play. That's in every position. There's a competition. We just happen to be in a position where we have to choose a quarterback that's going to be ready to roll.
How good or how confident, I guess, do you feel about McKay or Tyson, or I don't know if you have a chance to look at
Yeah, if they're in our program, I have confidence that they should be able to handle it. I mean, why bring them onto your team if you don't think they can play? So yeah, my goal though is to create a system where we can see who earns the spot, and I only know one way: I play the best. So if you want to know how I play favorites, whoever's the best will play and will start for us. That's at every position. And if you're a starter, then you better be ready for the guy behind you that's going to be hungry to take your spot. And then not only that, you have to be nice to him and you have to love him and be a mentor to him and then try to fight him off taking your spot. It's a pretty cool dynamic.
Coach, how big of a breakout do you think is possible for L.J. Martin, and do you think Doak Walker and Heisman are those are reachable?
I just want LJ to play good, effective football from the beginning. I'm not worried about personal accolades. I think if we do things right, stuff will happen for him. But and I think LJ will tell you the same, that if he just does all the little things right, good things can happen. But I'm not going to put any pressure on him to do that. The fact that he's here, you guys have been around him when he's a true freshman, and now he's here. He's a veteran. He's a junior. He's like, his freshman year, he didn't say 2 words, and now he's out here. It's cool because I'm listening to him, like, wow, he's finding his voice, and that's really cool. And so that's helping him personally, but I think the game of football is becoming he's become a lot easier now. He's in the same system, and I'm really looking forward to the fact that he's so big and he can run. That helps him out too. And then, we can't just think that he's going to be able to do it all by himself, but we have a core of running backs that we feel like can really help.
Last couple of questions.
Culture that you've established, the live and learn culture, can that survive in this day and age of players receiving revenue sharing, and maybe not having as much buy-in in the program as they do in their own income earning potential? Can your culture thrive in that?
Yeah, the culture of love and learn, it can work. It will work. I mean, what's the other culture that everybody's talking about? Pay for play, and that you purchase the best players. I mean, are the most expensive players the best producers out there in any sport? I mean, whoever signs the highest salary, are they those guys, or my focus, if the focus is on money, and that's your culture, then let's see if that works for you. I'm not going to coach that way. All rev share means that these guys get more money in their pockets than we did when we played, and that they have opportunities, and I'm happy for them. But more money doesn't mean that everything's going to be fixed. They have to receive the education. I mean, if you look at it, money causes a lot of issues and can be a huge distraction. What we want to do is eliminate that from entering into our culture. Obviously, people will talk about it. I don't want the focus to be on that. I want it to be like, if you play football, you get an opportunity to make more money than I did. And I want to be the old guy saying, oh, my check used to be $750 a month, and now you got all this stuff. But if you don't educate them on how to use their money and budget, like what do you need to live off of? These guys make a lot of money a month, and so teaching them about the future, things like that, education is going to allow them to learn, right? So my focus isn't on the money. It's creating longevity and creating an opportunity for you to think about your future and not living in the now. And then if you love ball, come to BYU. It's a place you can be focused on football completely. You can make sacrifices. You have a small window of time that you can play football and be all about ball. If not, then go somewhere else where you can party. But you don't love ball, like, you want to go party and have that experience, that's great. But I want guys that love ball and want to be in this culture. So it's finding the guys that want to be here for the right reasons. And sometimes that doesn't mean that we might have to tell some guys no, and this won't be the place. And I'm okay with that too. I want to coach the guys that want to be here and be here doing it our way.
How rewarding is it to take a young man out of a tough situation that he might have growing up, family situation, maybe not a lot of money, see him go through, graduate, get a diploma, and see him change his family's situation? And do you have a couple examples that you can maybe think back of that you're pretty proud of? Not proud of, but
there's a bunch. I could name hundreds, but I mean that's what it's all about. And I feel like the money is distracting them from actually receiving that education. And all the transferring that people are doing. When you transfer from one school to the next, you lose credits. They don't all transfer for you. So how many of these guys are really focused on getting their degree? And then creating a network for yourself where you can actually work in the community and have a profession other than football. Eventually it's going to end. I mean, not all of us can be like Tom Brady and just decide when we want to retire. You know what I mean? But it's inevitable. The game of football will end for everyone, and it's usually when you don't want it to. Now what plan do you have? So someone that's thinking only about money and what they get the here and now, this isn't going to be the right program for them. But if you want to start an investment fund, or you want to start thinking about your future and plan for yourself later on in life, and see that your money can really work for you, come here. Then I can work with you. But if it's like, nope, I got to receive my money now and this is it, that's not going to work. This is not the school that will really work with. And this isn't the football program. We're in alignment with what we do as a school and what we do with our church affiliation, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so we're going to continue that way. And there's a lot of people that want to be here for those reasons.
Kalani, some of your best teams have started off a season with a quarterback battle, 16, 20, can go through the list. But what is it about a quarterback battle to start a season that kind of brings out the best in your teams during your time here at BYU?
Yeah, the guys will rally around it. They'll rally no matter who the decision is and who the player is. They'll rally around that situation and that player. And then hopefully that player steps up and plays out of this world and plays for his teammates. And so when that happens, beautiful things can happen. But we got to go through the process, and we got to do all the hard work. There's a lot of really cool things that are happening with us. We got a long ways to go. We got to make up a lot of difficult hard work and physical football, things like that we're going to do at fall camp. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. And so whatever decisions we have to make on who plays in what positions, the rest of the guys will rally around everything that we decide on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Big 12 Football Media Days, Day 1 wrap-up here with Kalani Sitake, head coach of the Cougars. And Kalani, I'm sure you've gotten inundated with a bunch of questions, and now you're here near the end of the row with me, so I'm going to ask you some deep cut stuff about some of the players in the program. I'm curious, just personnel, overarching, how's the health of the team getting ready for fall camp?
Well, I mean, obviously we're not at our healthiest because we have a tough training regimen, and when we're getting ready close to getting to the season, that's part of how we do it. But I think we'll have a number of our guys back by the time we start fall camp, and then in fall camp we're gonna have to be physical and get violent at times. We have to practice that way. So it's unfortunate, but I don't know any other way. And so as we go through that, hopefully I hope for the best, but the game's violent, so a lot of things can happen. But they've also prepped and trained so that their body should be able to take it. We've included sports science quite a bit, so we know when we can really push these guys and when we can put them to a little bit more physical, maybe physical football, a little bit more aggressive stuff. But that's why we use the science. I'm not the scientist. That's Dr. Skylar Main and all those other guys. They're the smart ones that make it work. But I feel really good about the preparation so far.
I want to get some quick hit thoughts on some of these QBs. With the quarterback room, McKay Hillstead's a talented football player coming from Utah State, second year in the program. Just some quick thoughts on McKay and just his skill set, what he brings to this program.
Well, I think naturally, just going in and being here second year is going to be huge for him. I know that being in that quarterback room was really helpful for him and understanding the concept. These schemes are not easy to understand, but I think he got an early start at it, understanding it a little bit more without a lot of pressure, and now there's pressure on for him to perform, and so it's okay. He's ready for it. He's been waiting for this opportunity, and I'm really happy that he's in the mix, and you look at what he's been able to do. I think I said it before that we know if he's the guy, we know what type of offense we want to run. That goes for every quarterback that we have in our program.
Also, Trayson Bourget, second year as well. This guy loves BYU. I mean, he came as a walk-on, and now he's got a scholarship, obviously. But your thoughts on Bourget's skill set?
Well, I think he quickly earned a scholarship. I think A-Rod was really impressed with him. He knew that he wanted to be here, and I like that about him. I mean, he when he entered the portal, he's like, Coach, this is where I want to go. And we were kind of taken back because he had other offers. And so the fact that he came here and bet on himself, he was able to earn a scholarship really quickly. And then the love from the team. He and McKay have done a great job being in, just being engulfed in the culture of the program and understanding their role. But they bought into everything that we're about. And so the cool thing about Trayson is that he's already had an opportunity. He started games at Western Michigan, so he's done this before, and McKay's the same way. they can all spin the ball. I can tell you that. All our quarterbacks, whether it's Bear or even Emerson, those guys can all spin it. So that's a good sign. But that's also a prerequisite to play football at BYU and play quarterback, is that you have to be able to throw the ball. The fortunate thing is that we have a lot of guys like Parker Kingston and others that say they can throw the ball. We're going to be settled on these guys getting it done and creating a competition for all of them. But I think, like I said before, the best guy will play.
I wanted to follow up with Bear Bachmeyer. You mentioned him. Is he more athlete than quarterback right now, or is he got some tools to be a guy that can compete?
No, he can throw. These guys can all throw, but Bear can throw too. So that I don't want anyone. And he's really smart. So I don't. We've had experience already of having a true freshman play for us. So we've seen it all. We've seen competitions. We've had competitions go with 3 players before. So this isn't the fact that we have 3 or 4 guys vying for a spot doesn't change anything. We've done that already. So I feel good about where we're at. I feel good about what A-Rod and Fessy and those guys can get done.
Any players that were grandfathered in that are joining the program coming up this year?
We're still working with that. It's not a done deal yet, but we're still working through the roster. It was a surprise to us that happened. We were prepping for a 105, and so now that it's shifted, we have to shift it too, and hopefully try to get some guys back.
Last thing, at any time in between now and fall camp, what's the schedule for you and the coaches and the team?
We're all on vacation right now, so the assistants are all out there doing their thing and spending time with their families, and we'll be that way until the 28th, and then away we go and start camp right after that.
Okay, Kalani, another season, year 10. Best of luck, and we'll talk down the road.
Let's go. Go Cougs. Appreciate it.